All right, for this final step, I'm gonna show you how to cover your book. Right now, you have just finished this step and you have the tag board attached to the paper that you binded together with glue. We are going to end up here. Now, I know this isn't beautiful yet. We'll be able to decorate it later. This is just to finish your book and make sure it's all binded together and to really protect the binding and finish it. So I'm gonna show you this step. The pitch is gonna work. Newspaper is really good for this step. You could also use rice paper. Anything more stiff is gonna not work very well, and anything a little bit thinner than this is gonna have the glue go through. So you can use the pitch. It's in the back of the classroom in the cabinets behind the curtains. The paper of the pitch is actually gonna be a perfect size if you are using the largest size book that we're working with in class. It'll also work really well for the square book, the medium size. If you're using the small size, that would also work. For this size, you could probably cut it down a little bit. For this size, it's gonna be really large. I'm just gonna kind of cut it down as I go. I'm sure there are ways to be technical about how you cut it down first for the sizing of the book that you're using, but I'm gonna cut those steps out because this works just fine. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, and if you're using a pitch, if you're using a paper that's not the pitch, it's not already creased, you'll definitely want to do this step and just fold it in the middle. And that's where your the binding is going to go, the edge of your book. I'm just going to completely cover one side with glue. Okay. And you can use the tip of the glue bottle to kind of smear that around, or you can use your finger. That works just fine too to really make it smooth. And I'm going to line this up right on the edge of where the crease is. I do want to leave a good amount on this side just in case. This is fine for this book. If you were working with the larger size, you'd want to put that in the center of the pitch. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. Then I'm going to cover this side with glue. You don't need a ton. I'm just going to smear that together. You don't want it to seep through the paper. This is a good amount. It's really easy to add more glue. It's difficult to get rid of the glue if you use too much. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold this over. I'm kind of pulling this just a little bit on this side, if you can see that. Pulling this a little bit just so it's flush on the book. I'm kind of smoothing that out. I may have even used too much glue on mine. Okay, I'm gonna flip this, smooth that out. Now I'm going to cut that down. I'm going to kind of feel for where the book is. And I'm sure there are, again, other ways that other artists do this to measure how large the paper should be in advance and make it perfect. But again, this works. So I'm just feeling for where the book is. I know I have this much on this side. I'm going to measure. This will probably be okay. It's similar to, I think, wrapping a present. So I'm just kind of eyeballing how much room I need. Let me go ahead and cut all of that off. And then I'm going to open this back up. Okay, just like this. Okay. Just checking the sizing. This looks good. So if you feel it, at my end of the book, you can't really see it very well. It ends right here. I've left this much room on the sides. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down a little bit. You can wait to do this step. Usually it's if you have the same amount of paper on this side that makes up for the width of the book, that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna cut it a little bit long just in case to be safe. You don't wanna cut it too short. And then I'm gonna make a couple more cuts just so it makes it easier for the next couple steps. Okay. I'm gonna cut right at the edge. This is where the fold is. I'm gonna cut this little piece off until I feel where the book is, which is right there. Cut that off. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Again, this is where the binding of the book is. Okay. And then I'm also going to cut, this is the corner of the book. You can see this is where the book ends. Okay, so that's where it opens. I'm gonna cut this little square off from the corner. That's where the corner was. Also right here. Okay, so you're ending up when you open your book with these little pieces, if you can see this, cut out. All right, so I'm doing that one more time. This is the binding, this is the corner. I'm gonna cut a little square off of that corner. I'm gonna open this back up. So this is really what you should end up with. If it doesn't look like this, something went wrong. So come get your teacher and we'll tell you what you did wrong, but this is really what you should end up with when you cut off those extra pieces. All right, now I'm gonna choose to just start on one side. It doesn't matter what side you start on. I'm gonna add a little bit of extra glue, just not a ton, just a teeny bit, because I don't want this to seep through and get stuck on the other pages. Just doing a really nice light layer, especially since I already had a ton of glue that's kind of left over from here, so I'm going to use this to cover this page. Okay. And then I'm going to add a little bit more to these two pieces here. Okay. Just a little bit, just a couple dots. Again, you can always add more if you need it. Can't see this, I'm just doing the same thing on the other side. And then you're gonna fold in these sides, top and the bottom. If you feel like it's sticking up a ton, you can always use the glue that's on your finger to smooth that out. That took care of that. And then you're gonna seal it with this page. Now, I think it's okay to let the newspaper hang over the edge of the first paper. If you're particular about that and you want to cut this down right here, you can, but I think it's fine to just let that go onto the next page. Okay, I'm going to fold that down. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So here that is just, again, adding a little bit more glue. Oh, that's a ton. If you use too much like I just did, oh, you can't see that. If you use too much like I just did right there, you can just spread what you feel like you need and then pick up that excess and put it on the next part that you need to put glue on. Easy. And if you don't need more glue on yours, if someone nearby needs some more, you can ask around to give it to them. Smoothing that down, same deal, just folding these down first. If you mix up these two steps and fold this one first, it's not the biggest deal in the world, unless you don't cut this down. And then you're folding this way, smoothing it. And you always want to go away from this. This is going to get away from where you're folding it. It's going to get rid of any air bubbles in the glue. And it looks like I need to add a little bit of glue right here. I'm not even going to put that on there. I'm just going to get some from this palette over here. And smooth that down. And then you're going to do a similar step that you did when you did the last step, and that is put a binder clip on here. You'll have to get this from your teacher. That's what took me so long. I had to sign it out. And you're just gonna put that on the opposite end. So it's similar step, just the opposite edge. Okay, and you can store that in your drawer, wait for tomorrow to decorate it.